Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
The other day, like there was a meme that said, "Who would you sit beside on this airplane?" And it was a bunch of presidents, and one was JFK and Lincoln. And I was like, I definitely wouldn't be sitting over there, or else I have to be really quick at ducking.
Welcome to Comedians in Elevators podcast. I've got my guest, Jeremy Foote. Jeremy, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Foote. I'm a wannabe screenwriter. Not I mostly write horror and drama and a little bit of action. So this is kind of funny that you asked me, and where I'm not really a comedian per se, but
Well, the funny part is, I would say horror is very analogous to comedy. Would you agree?
yeah, I would. Yeah, a lot of the same beats, I think. But you have to have that rhythm. And
Exactly. The rhythm is the same between comedy and horror. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly right. That's how I would see it. So, you ready to get started, Jeremy?
sure, let's do this.
Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see that 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comments section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build, and we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me. All right. So the whole point of the podcast is to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So I define the comic as any person telling funny jokes versus the comedian who's a funny person telling any jokes. So Jeremy, would you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
I would, yeah, yeah.
All right.
I'm kind of on the same page as you, where a comic is just a funny person. Like it could be a mime, it could be a clown, it could be like a comedian doing stand up, it could be a writer.
Mhm.
But then I feel a comedian is kind of that where you break into that professional realm of your career. I'm from the East Coast of Canada. We have a saying, it's called that person's comical. So that to me is just a funny person in general. It could, like I said, it could be a clown, a mime, or anybody just telling a funny joke.
So with that phrase, is that referring to external or internal when you refer to this person as comical?
It can be both. It
Okay.
could be just, telling a story and their facial expressions or just the way they tell a story could be funny. Or it could not even be a funny story, but they're just telling it with such vigor and their facial expressions, and you just laugh at them because just the way they tell the story or just the way they are. Like
So would you say that the term comical is maybe a superclass of the comic and the comedian?
yeah, see, a comedian can be comical, or a comic can be anything to me.
Can
Like
be
I don't
can be
know. It's
comical.
really
Now it sounds now that's there's something there. The comic can be comical. Now we're getting into horror. All right, so you
yeah,
ready for the first question, Jeremy?
sure.
All right, it's about the role of persona in comedy. So, how much of the comedian's voice is a character versus their real self?
I'm tr- like they're like let's pick a comedian so we can like let's just say I don't know Dave Chappelle for instance. I
Okay.
don't know what he's like in real life, but he's very much a storyteller. That's his
Hmm.
voice. But I'm sure that's what he's like in real life when he's with his family and friends. Like he just tells stories and it's just naturally funny. I don't know if that's kind of the answer you're looking for.
No, absolutely. Yeah, Dave Chappelle's an interesting character. It's the question of, how is he on and off stage? And as far as I'm tracking, I believe he's an introvert. So if he's extroverted on when he's on stage, he
Yeah,
would probably be actually very different off stage. Do you see that as a potential?
I see that potentially. Yeah, I'm very much an introvert at home as well. Like I'm quiet, but when it comes to like this stuff and writing, I
Hmm.
can be extroverted because I teach first aid and CPR, but I find when I have to be, I'm exhausted by it. It exhausts me to be extroverted.
Right. Right.
Just
Yeah, exactly. If you're naturally introverted, it's exhausting to be extroverted, and vice versa until you tune yourself to that, right? So I'm extroverted. So when I
Mhm.
go on stage, I become an introvert.
Okay.
It's a very strange phenomenon, but it is. So now all of a sudden, it's like this whole psychological inversion that occurs. It's a very odd reality. So then, does authenticity matter, or is illusion part of the magic?
I think it's like a comedian, you can be a funny magician like Penn and Teller. So it's very much part of the magic of illusion. Illusion is very much part of the whole stand-up comedian role, I think.
All right. So how about punching up versus punching down? So where do comics versus comedians subscribe to this? And let me put in some historical context. Did a jealous medieval prince become the first comedian by killing the court jester?
I think he became the first heckler.
At least,
Yeah.
for
Um,
sure.
Punching up for the comedian, uh, it's hard. Like a lot of people do punch down, but I think a really good comedian punches up, if you know what I mean. Like
Mhm, absolutely.
people tell racist jokes or sexist jokes, and that's to me that's punching down,
Mhm.
but you can punch up as well.
Well, if you're a guy telling sexist jokes about males, is that punching up or down?
Punching across, I guess. It's not really punching
Okay.
up or down.
You're
Because
just
you're
doing the
punch
chicken dance?
yeah, you're doing it, you're like if I was
You're doing
making
air
fun of it.
push-ups?
Yeah, if I was making fun of a straight male, then I'm just kind of making fun of
Yeah,
myself too, right? So I'm not
right.
really punching up or down.
But yeah, so I mean, normally that's what we want to do is we want to kind of talk about ourselves in that respect. So it's
Yeah.
a tough, is it even relevant as a perspective? So is criticizing dead people considered punching down?
Yeah. See, you mean joke about them or crit? Because there's a difference I find between joking and criticizing.
Well, that's why I chose the word. So the
Yeah.
idea is that it's not
Beady
necessarily
beady beady.
funny,
Yeah.
right? So
Like
is there an
criticizing.
objective way? Yeah.
I made a joke the other day, like there was a meme that said, "Who would you sit beside on this airplane?" And it was a bunch of presidents, and one was JFK and Lincoln. And I was like, I definitely wouldn't be sitting over there, or else I have to be really quick at ducking. But someone went, "Ah, that's funny," but that's joking and not more criticizing because I'm not criticizing
No,
them.
it's good because if they ducked, they would have survived.
Yeah,
That's a
and
criticism.
I'm not criticizing their policies or anything like that,
Right,
or
right, right.
them as a person. So
Yeah, you're just criticizing the moment of their death. I
yeah,
think it's actually,
I'm joking about their moment of their
of
death, but
course, it's funny.
yeah,
No, it is funny. It's technically funny. It's definitely acceptable. I think we're in the Overton window on that one. So,
yeah. As a paramedic, I use a lot of dark humor to
yeah.
get through our, because that's what I am by trade as a paramedic.
Okay.
So we use a
So
lot of
you've
dark.
seen, so do you see ghosts?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't want to answer. That's fair enough. So, cultural translation of comedy. So, how do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
Um, like I guess if you were an East Coast comic, there's a lot of different sayings, what we joke about, or even our job. Like I could bomb in front of a whole bunch of people if I was using East Coast jokes, say on the West Coast or
Okay.
Central.
So, I mean, you called it out. What is an East Coast joke these days?
Well, just there's a comedian that is from the area I live in, and he makes fun of East Coasters. Like he'll go
Okay.
like talk about his jokes are basically saying these are our sayings, and people are like confused over what how we talk.
Right.
And that's his whole shtick is making fun of the way we talk, but in front of like a Toronto audience or an LA audience or
Right. Right. That one's tough because you're relating. It should relate, but sometimes it just doesn't because it's too specific.
yeah,
It's
and it
like
makes
that's a tough one because it's visceral. You know it when you know it, unless you don't know it, and then you're
yeah,
like, okay,
but he kind of segues it so that the regular audience understands where and we understand it too, and we can laugh at ourselves. So we're
he
like, oh yeah, that's a
conceptualizes it.
because we're like, yeah, that's 100% true. That's how we talk, and then we never notice it, and
Ah,
right,
that's a good point. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Is the things you take for granted, like when people say, I have a California accent. I'm like, we don't have an accent.
yeah, the same. I'm sure I have an accent, and I don't hear it.
Right. That's the way it works. That's the way we hear things. So, how about cultural translation of, did I already ask this question? Cultural translation of comedy? I did. So, how does the silence when your joke doesn't land hurt? Physically, emotionally, morally, or spiritually?
See, I'm not a comic, so like I love comedy. Like I've always been a big fan of comedy, but I don't know that feeling of getting on stage and a joke not landing because
Oh, I mean,
that's what would scare me about wanting to get up on stage is if I get up there and I totally bomb, that would be
you will, yeah,
humiliating.
it is humiliating. You will bomb. Even if you
Yeah,
don't, you'll feel like you did. Even when you don't, you'll be like,
yeah,
I bombed. Everyone's like, that was great. You're like, oh, I feel like an idiot.
because I
You
just
never told a joke, go on a date and tell a joke. You're like, I have to do something. And you tell a joke and it sucks, or she's
oh
stupid
yeah,
and
then
doesn't
you're
get it.
like embarrassed and you're like, fuck, she doesn't think I'm funny and she's not gonna like me. I'm not gonna even get a second date.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if the dead president's joke would be a good choice, but I would try it.
I
Let's
would.
see where
That's just yeah, I am.
I
I,
would do it. Let's see how
I
dark
always
you can be.
I always joke saying, here's the line and here's Jeremy. Like I'm way over the line and beyond and skated past it.
I was gonna say you got those hockey laces on your hoodie there.
They are. It's an old. I'm at work. It's an old hockey hoodie that when I used to coach hockey, it was
Very
my
nice.
the team I coached.
Very nice. So, how about love and justice? So, is the highest function of comedy to expose injustice or to make people feel less alone while living with it?
Both.
Okay.
Like you can talk about injustices in the world and then make them feel it. Like we talking about big game hunting and joking, not joking about it, but like Ricky Gervais is a big proponent of against big game hunting, and then he can bring that into his act and make you feel the same way he feels. I guess if that
Okay.
answers your question. If that answers your question, then
Yeah, I hope there's not too many strict answers to these questions.
I
So
hope
the
not
answer would be
either.
yes.
Yeah.
So exactly. So when a joke harms someone unintentionally, does love demand accountability or does justice demand defiance?
Um, the joke hurts somebody. I think that's their problem. Like like Dave Chappelle again. I'll use him as an example. Like talking about trans people, and it's like he was never making fun of trans people per se. He was just talking about them. He had a trans friend, a trans comic that he knew,
Hmm.
and he was never punching down on them. And but people took it that way.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like, how do you perceive the joke?
It's interesting. Yeah, I do recall that he did. I do believe that's how I remember him starting was not with punching down, but once he was criticized as punching down,
He
he took
went,
it and ran with it.
oh yeah,
Right? He's like, "Oh, that's punching down. Well, let me show you what punching down is."
yeah, like he
Yeah.
gave a trans comedian a chance to open for him,
Right.
and then she got drugged through the internet because she opened for him, and then she actually I think she ended up committing suicide, but over all
Yeah.
the online hate, but because she opened for him because he's a trans hater. Or
Well, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't as much until afterward. That's for sure. I think.
yeah, no, he went full throttle after that. Try
Exactly.
to let's try
It's
to
very retaliatory. It's like the tariffs here. So then, who survives better in a cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, the magician, or the mudslinger?
in cancel culture.
Yeah.
The magician because he can roll with the punches. Like he can flip flop sides, or I always say I'm a centrist. I'm not a left or a right, but right now I'm centrist leaning left just because of the environment right now.
Right. You want to be balanced. You don't want to fall. So you got to kind of shift the weight, even though your foot's on the line. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm not a I guess even in states, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I call myself a centrist, where we up here it's liberal or conservative. So I'm like, nah, right now I'm left leaning just because of the environment right now. But I can easily start going the other way too if someone annoys me.
Absolutely. Yeah. You always want to, you feel obligated to balance out, to be balanced, basically. Right.
Yeah,
So, love and justice. So, is the highest function of comedy to expose injustice
it
or to
used to
make,
be. I feel it used to be.
Okay.
Now it's not because I feel comedy, because of cancel culture, has been dulled. Like I remember Saturday Night Live used to be cutting edge, like making fun of everything. And now they're very left leaning, I find, Saturday Night Live. Yeah, but it also depends on the guest. Like
Right.
when Dave's on, it's hilarious. I find the show hilarious when Dave's on, but when they have a very left leaning host, then all their jokes seem to be not really biting like they used to be.
That's for sure. It kind of rolls down. So, how about timing and delivery? Is it a science or an art?
Both. It's you got to learn the science, and then you can practice the art of time. It's like horror. Like there's very much a timing and delivery, like for that jump scare or the big creature reveal or whatever. You got to have that. You got to know when to do it. Like you can't do it too early, and you can't do it too late. You have to. It has to be very much it's a beat.
Mm. Speaking of, so how about comedy as commentary? So, when does a comedian cross into being a philosopher or a preacher?
It's toughy. I can only think of two comedians that cross that line: George Carlin and again Dave Chappelle. I find Dave Chappelle's the George Carlin of our generation now, where since he's gotten older and wiser, like because
Okay. So he's taking the mantle. Is what
yeah,
basically.
I feel he's taken the George Carlin mantle of like philosopher, and he talks about everything and everybody and injustices of the world, and
So is that good or does it dilute the humor?
depends on the person. I find like it doesn't for Dave. He's funny no matter what. I think I must be just a big fan. It could be just partial to him, but everything I find he does is hilarious. Like stand-up wise, anyways. He hasn't done movies in a while, but
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's done a couple, or I thought he did. I wasn't sure, but
he did
they're they're
did
not comedies.
no, he did A Star Is Born. He was in that for like 30 seconds.
Okay.
He was friends with Bradley Cooper's character.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only time I can remember him doing anything outside of like Half Baked or something like that.
All right. So, Jeremy, are you ready to enter the multiverse?
I'll try.
You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here, where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast and get the message out today. See you soon. Okay, so board game Zoomcast, play versus performance. So you have to choose an avatar. So if comedy were a board game Zoomcast, are you competing as the colorist avatar, adding tone, mood, and shading, or the Foley artist avatar, building punchlines with soundscapes and timing?
Yeah, I'm a movie guy. I'd have to go with the Foley artist, like
Okay.
building the world building, and that's why I think I like Dave because he builds that world. He's a good storyteller. He builds that world before he's miles away from the punchline. Before he even
Right.
gets there, he's building that lead up, that build up.
Exactly. Exactly. Very introverted of him to do so, right?
Yeah,
So then does comedy work better when it's painted vividly or when it's orchestrated sonically?
I think vividly for me personally, it's vividly like when like telling stories and painting that big picture and then getting to the punchline.
All right. So here on the Comedians and Elevators podcast, we have a tradition where the previous guest asks a question for the next guest. And the previous guest was Gino Seegers, and his question for you, Jeremy, is do you think that the father character in Lakeshore Drive, which I think you meant Lakeview Terrace, was the good guy or the bad guy, which was played by Samuel L. Jackson?
been Lakeview Terrace. I gotta remember that movie first. I don't even
So
know
he
if
called it. So he called it Lakeshore Drive, and I couldn't find that. And then I found Lakeview Terrace. So
I'm gonna
this
have
is
to
the
look it up
problem.
first.
This
Just
is the problem with asking these questions, because you may not have any idea what I'm talking about. So if you haven't seen the movie, it would be kind of tough to.
that's an old
Uh,
movie.
2008 or Lakeshore
Yeah.
Drive. So if you haven't seen it, it's not going to work. But guess
No,
what? I haven't seen it either. So,
I, it
so
looks familiar. It looks familiar, but I don't.
yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't.
no, it's an LA crime drama thriller thing. You're gonna for sure be like, I think it's like I should have seen it, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on that. So, gonna have to call a mulligan on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm
So,
gonna have to too as well.
fair
I'm
enough.
sure I
All right.
watched it, but I watch hundreds of movies a year, and if it doesn't stick out in my brain, then it probably wasn't that great of a movie.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is basically is, do you think of how can characters be interpreted as good versus bad? It's kind of which side of the fence are they on, and it's not always clear, right?
No,
And
it's not
so,
always clear. It's
yeah,
I'm just reading the synopsis that Sam Jackson's a racist LA cop, and
right.
but
But or is he, right? That's kind of how they set it up,
or is he
right?
like he could have been just burned by white people and
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they went through the whole thing. You watch it, and you're like, that's the first scene or second scene, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. But we don't know because we haven't seen it.
no, it
So I guess
definitely
that's on our
feels
list.
has that thriller feel to it, which it says it is.
Absolutely.
So
All right, so last question, legacy. Who gets remembered? Will the comic's tight five survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
cultural point of view, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
very cool.
Elaborate a little bit. Like you have Ricky Gervais talks about, people punching on him. Like make it like I mean, he went full throttle there at the Golden Globes a few years ago for a couple of
Mhm.
years in a row on all the stars, and now it seems to be coming to light that he was kind of spitting truth facts and not just jokes
Right.
with the
Which is
whole
always the key, is if you can uncover the truth,
yeah,
and you hide it, you hide it in the format of a joke, and
yeah.
so ultimately you'll be remembered for that. So awesome. So Jeremy, where can everybody find you online?
I'm on Twitter mostly, or I
Okay.
guess X now. I still call it Twitter.
It's awesome that it's you would still call Twitter. I think that was probably the best move ever, is that it's people call it Twitter, and it makes more
Yeah,
sense.
like X
That's
to me seems like a pornographic like dating site or something. Like
well, that's also what it is, right?
yeah, no, no. It's funny how people use it for a dating site. I use it just I comment on movies and a little bit of politics. Not much politics. I get too angry when I talk about politics, so I try
Right.
to
So
steer.
you get pushed off the fence if you
Yeah,
start with the politics.
yeah.
And you're like,
So I
I didn't
just
want to fall onto the side. You made me
no,
fall onto the side of the fence. Now I got to get back on the
extreme
top of
left
the fence.
maybe the extreme left pushed me right, and the extreme right are pushing me left. And I feel like
Right.
uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
WWF.
When you're a tightrope walker, you're like, listen, I got a goal here. We're just going to get to the other side.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for being my guest. And for everyone, please like and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one.
All right. Thank you.
If you're interested in too much information like in the network state or Mantipus the chicken shit, check out this video. Or is it this one right here? Well, either way. Lizard.